welcome back to Horsepower Obsessed. Today we are going to take the C8 to the dyno. So I'm told that cold starts aren't really that great, but how about interior cold starts? You guys don't know a lot about what the AWE system sounds like inside the car, so windows up, let's hear it. Alright guys, so before we head out to the dyno, I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little indication of what we're doing at the dyno. So first we're going to go ahead and get a baseline of the C8 Corvette, which obviously includes the AWE touring axle back system. So it's not exactly a stock baseline, but it is going to be my baseline. So after that, the guys over at Attack Blue have reached out to me with some air filters to test. For now, we're going to test one, their pride and joy of the prototypes, so to speak. And then we're going to get another dyno run to see if it adds or subtracts performance. Hopefully it adds, because as you guys know, I'm a big fan of the Attack Blue air filter in the C7 Corvette as well. I had one in my Z06 and I also had one in my ZR1 until I switched to the GM Performance air intake. Before that, I was using the Attack Blue nanofiber air filter, which has a couple different benefits, but the most notable is that it filters better, it flows better, and it's reusable. For the price, you can't really beat that kind of stuff, because obviously air filters are going to get dirty, and when they do, you can reuse them. So anyway, they reached out to me with some new air filters that they want to have tested on the C8 Corvette, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to get a baseline, then we're going to see what their air filter does for performance, and then we're going to leave it in the car, drive it around, and see how we feel about it. So, let's get to the dyno. So that was stock run. Now we're going to go ahead and change it over to the prototype air filters and see what this thing does. Hopefully it does something. So the car will be cooling down while we come in here right behind this guy and change the air filter. So other than a bunch of T15 Torx head screws, this is actually really easy to access on this car, probably easier than on the C7. You actually just take off the two clips that hold on the target top, which is 4 T15 screws on each side. Then you can pull down the carpet, and in here you're going to have a bunch of T15 screws that hold the protective panel over top of the actual air box. In here it looks like we're going to have 6 8mm bolts holding the actual airbox cover on. That will give us access to the air filter that we'll swap out and then run another dyno. And just like that, we are to the air filter. Now, the company saying this to me, like I said, is TKO Performance. They actually do not want me to show the prototypes on camera, so I'm going to swap this out, get this all bolted back together, and we're going to do another dyno run. But I just want you guys to know this is kind of cutting edge stuff here, because nobody really has one of these air filters for the C8 yet. Anyway, once this is done, we're going to throw it back on the dyno and see what kind of numbers this thing makes, if anything. Hopefully we get some good results here. Fingers crossed. This is the run with the air filter, so let's see if this thing makes any additional power. right, guys, and we are back from the dyno. So it is a little bit of a different dyno than what we're used to going to because everybody is just so busy, it seems. Because of the whole pandemic thing going on right now, everybody has a lot of work to do and they don't have time for just random people to get their car thrown up on a dyno for some power runs. But I found a dyno that allowed me to do it, and this is what we came up with. So stock, 100% stock with the AWE axle back. That's it right there. We get 437 horsepower and 418 foot-pounds of torque. Now, I am actually not able to show you what the difference was with that air filter. All I can tell you is it made more power. A fairly significant amount more power. And that's awesome, but the company is still in the very early stages of R&D on this, so I'm going to be testing out a couple different renditions of the air intake, and hopefully it just continues to build more and more power. The stock unit, I can tell you this much, the stock air filter on the C8 Corvette is extremely restrictive. So the fact that we were able to open it up a little bit is definitely going to be a good thing. I am going to grab the stock air filter here in a second for you and show you guys what it looks like, because it is very restrictive, and the one we put in there obviously allows a little bit more flow and a little bit more power, which of course is never a bad thing. But like I said, the Attack Blue air filters will be making their way to the C8 Corvette very soon, and I'm going to be getting another rendition here very soon so I can throw it on the dyno, see how much more power it creates, and we can just keep going back and forth until we find that happy medium between filtration and power creation. But anyway, let's go grab the stock filter out of the C8 Corvette so you guys can see just how restrictive this thing really is. So here it is. It is basically your typical AC Delco style filter. It's very rigid and has a massive amount of paper pleats, and it just doesn't, I mean, it's not horrible, but it just doesn't look very performance oriented, which of course it isn't. I mean, GM designs these things to meet EPA standards, make sure that the engine stays under a certain decibel and all that good stuff. And in doing so, it limits performance, it limits functionality to an extent, because when you have this many paper pleats, it's just not going to breathe like it should. And as you guys know, with the Attack Blue air filter on the C7 Corvette, it is a nanofiber filter, so it's not paper, and it allows for a better filtration while also giving you a better flow, which of course in turn creates better performance. So like I said, I'm not able to show you the Attack Blue one just yet until a little more R&D is gone into it and it is ready for showtime. And the numbers, like I said, it creates higher numbers, more horsepower, and more torque. But unfortunately, I'm not able to tell you exactly how much more until we have gone through a couple different filters and a little bit more R&D to make sure that this thing is ready for showtime. But anyway, guys, that's gonna do it. So if you liked what you saw here today, give me a big thumbs up. If you have any questions about the dyno process, the air filters, or anything that we've done, shoot them in the comment section down below, or shoot me an email at horse.power.obsessed@gmail.com, and I'll make sure you get any questions you have answered. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, please do. I'm gonna have loads of C7 and C8 Corvette content coming you are not gonna wanna miss. And as always, guys, I will catch you in the next upload.